This story starts in a school where we find a girl lost in thought about her brother. Her moment of contemplation is suddenly interrupted when another girl bursts into the classroom, frantically calling for everyone's attention. She excitedly announces that she's just seen the cutest guy in the office. Apparently, he's a new transfer student and a third year. As soon as the girl from before hears this, she realizes it must be her brother. Before we dive deeper into the story, the girl narrates that her brother was thought to have died in a plane crash with their parents, but miraculously, he returned after 10 long years. When she saw her brother for the first time, she could hardly believe her eyes. Their grandpa had the same reaction upon seeing him alive. When her brother looked at her, she was startled, but he just smiled in response and asked if she was his sister Dion. Suddenly, Dion is yanked out of her flashback by a bunch of girls trying to bully her. These troublemakers demand that she hand over the gym uniform she's brought with her. Dion tries to reason with them, pointing out that if she gives up her uniform, she won't have anything to wear. Blondezilla just snickers at this and then starts yelling at her. She's so loud that even the other girls in the classroom can't ignore the commotion she's causing for no good reason. Blondezilla finally crosses the line and smacks Dion on the head, making it clear that she better hand over the uniform or else she won't be nice to her anymore. Even the other girls in the classroom just look away, not wanting to get involved. It looks like Dion has no choice but to face the humiliation and silently comply with the demand. The next scene takes us to third year class 2, where the entire class is being introduced to this new handsome fella who has just transferred into this school. The teacher mentions that he's been living overseas for a long time and asks everyone to be friendly and help him settle in. All the girls in the class can't help but blush at how hot he is. Even the bullies in the room can't resist sneering while the other students feel a pang of jealousy. The teacher directs him to an empty seat at the back of the room. As the new guy walks to his seat, we spot a redhead named Jae-hong, clearly annoyed. He's jealous that this new guy is stealing the spotlight. The big guy behind him signals something, and Jae-hong quickly gets the idea. He stretches his foot out, trying to trip the new guy as he passes. But the plan fails. The new student suddenly stops, leaving Jae-hong frustrated. The new guy, Jin, just shoots him a cold glare without saying a word. The scene flashes back to Jin's past. A blonde senior advises him to avoid fights once he returns to Korea. Jin calmly explains that he never enters combat without proper intel. His response sounds intense, talking about survival, strategy, and avoiding rookie mistakes that could cost lives. The senior, Major Kong, quickly stops him and clarifies he simply meant, don't fight because others would get hurt badly. Jin remembers this advice, which is why he chooses to ignore Jae-hong completely. Back in class, the teacher notices Jin standing still and asks if everything is all right. Jin smiles politely and continues to his seat, ignoring the failed prank. Jae-hong assumes he's weak and afraid. Once seated, the teacher asks another student to help Jin adjust before leaving. The boy next to him introduces himself as Youngchan Park. Jin responds by introducing himself as Jin. Youngchan nervously leans in and warns him about Jae-hong, calling him a troublemaker. He also mentions another bully, Hak Jinju. Jin quietly observes both of them while thanking Youngchan. The math teacher soon arrives and begins solving problems on the board. Some students take notes, others look bored or distracted. Jin watches everything carefully, students sleeping, using phones, and others paying attention. He then gazes outside at students playing. His mind drifts back to his past as a mercenary, rain pouring, exhaustion, chaos, gunfire, explosions. It was a life filled with danger and constant survival. But now, sitting in a quiet classroom, everything feels different. Peaceful. Silent. For the first time in years, there's no chaos, just calm. As school ends, students head home. Dion notices her brother waiting nearby. She's surprised and asks if he was waiting for her. He says yes, he wanted to walk her home, but she's free to go if she has other plans. She quickly says she doesn't, though she's clearly nervous. They begin walking together, both feeling awkward. Jin breaks the silence, asking if she feels awkward too. She denies it, but he admits he does, which helps her relax a little. He explains he was only 9 during the accident, so he barely remembers his family. He adds that it must be strange for her too since she was only 7. Dion stays quiet because it's true. Suddenly, she hears familiar voices and stops. Around the corner are the same girls who bullied her earlier. One of them spots Dion immediately and calls her out. The group starts questioning who she is. The bully reveals Dion is disliked by Juan, the blonde girl who hit her. Then they notice Jin and start teasing Dion, asking if he's her boyfriend. Embarrassed, Dion quickly explains he's her brother. The bully is surprised, not knowing she had one. Jin calmly asks if the girl is her friend. Dion nervously says they know each other from class, but the bullying clearly isn't over. The bully girl keeps throwing rude comments, clearly enjoying Dion's discomfort. Jin's expression turns cold as he stares directly at the girl. The glare is so intense it feels like it could freeze hell itself. One of the guys, a big, aggressive-looking thug, gets annoyed by Jin's stare and warns him to watch himself. When Jin doesn't back down, the thug grabs him by the collar, raising his hand to slap him. Dion rushes forward, bowing her head desperately. Please, he's been living overseas most of his life. He's not used to how things work here. The bully girl laughs at Dion's pleading, but the thug snaps at her to stay out of it. Seeing his sister trembling in fear, something snaps inside Jin. He grabs the thug's wrist in an iron grip. The big guy winces in pain, even though Jin hasn't used full force yet. Jin calmly sets his bag down and removes his school coat. He gently covers Dion's face with it. Wait here, he says softly. It won't take more than a minute. The thug charges from behind. In one fluid motion, Jin spins and delivers a powerful slap across the thug's face. The force sends the guy staggering backward, blood spraying from his mouth as he crashes to the ground like a sack of potatoes. The remaining bullies freeze, their faces pale with terror. Jin sighs, disappointed in himself for breaking his promise to Major Kong, but some people clearly had it coming. Soldiers push themselves through intense drills under the blazing sun. Among them, Major Kong oversees the session with sharp eyes. A fellow soldier approaches from behind and reminds him, "Today's Jin's first day at school." Major Kang's expression turns serious. Despite giving Jin 6 months of lessons on how to live a normal civilian life, he still worries. After spending 10 years as a top mercenary, adapting to high school won't be easy. Still, a small smile appears on his face. He has faith in the boy he trained. Back on the street, the aftermath of Jin's 1 minute is brutal. The two thugs who tried to attack him lie unconscious on the ground, eyes rolled back. The cocky bully girl and her remaining friend tremble in pure terror as Jin walks toward them. In a flash, Jin delivers a devastating punch to the second thug's gut, sending him flying backward and crashing hard. The bully girl's jaw drops. When Jin turns his cold gaze on her, she nearly collapses from fear. Dion finally pulls the coat off her face. Her hands shake as she sees the two thugs completely defeated in under a minute. Jin gives the bully girl one last intimidating glare before turning to his sister. "Sorry for covering your face like that," he says gently. Dion feels even more awkward, so Jin tries to lighten the mood. "Want to grab some snacks from your favorite store before we head home?" Dion stammers that it's okay, so they simply continue walking together. As the siblings leave, the bully girl stands frozen, utterly stunned. The terrifying guy who just destroyed two thugs with ease is now acting like a caring older brother, even waving at her casually. The contrast leaves her speechless. On the way home, Dion finally asks, "Were you the one who knocked those two guys out?" Jin nods casually. Dion looks at him curiously. "You don't seem like the type to pick fights." Jin explains that in the places he lived, staring someone down could be dangerous depending on who you were looking at. He only did it because he saw how scared she was and wanted to protect her. Dion blushes and lowers her head in silence. For the first time in a long while, she feels someone genuinely looking out for her. Later that evening, at their apartment, Grandpa is a nervous wreck, frantically offering Jin fruit and telling him to relax. Jin, however, insists on washing the dishes himself. Grandpa eventually gives in, watching with a mix of surprise and warmth. While cleaning, Grandpa asks if dinner was okay. Jin smiles and says it was great. He loved every meal. Grandpa looks visibly relieved and happy. He then turns to Dion, asking if she enjoyed it too. She nods shyly. Grandpa shifts the conversation to Jin's first day at school, curious if anything interesting happened. Both Jin and Dion hesitate for a moment, the day's events flashing through their minds. Jin finally answers with a small smile. "It was a good day. Grandpa's face lights up with genuine joy. That night, as everyone sleeps, Jin lies awake. His mind drifts to the grateful look on Grandpa's face when they first reunited, and how his once cold heart has slowly begun to warm in this quiet home. His thoughts then shift to the plane crash, the panic, the oxygen masks dropping, his parents desperately trying to protect him as the plane plunged. Jin jolts awake, breathing heavily from the nightmare. Morning arrives. Jin hears noise in the living room and finds Dion already preparing breakfast. She tells him Grandpa left for work early. His paid leave ended, so he's back on the job. Dion puts on her uniform, reminds Jin to eat, and heads out. Back at school, the same bully girl, now nicknamed Chicken Shake for how she trembles, and Juan, the blonde leader, are talking. Juan has just learned that the handsome transfer student is Dion's brother. Chicken Shake looks terrified, her mind replaying how Jin effortlessly knocked out 2 guys with single strikes. Juan presses her for details, but Chicken Shake is too shaken to speak at first. Finally, she swallows her fear and says, "We should stop picking on Dion from now on." Juan scoffs, reminding her that she and her brother are basically the top dogs at school. Everyone bows to them. Nothing will change. A short while later, Dion is once again cornered. Juan and Chicken Shake drag her to the school's recycling station and start beating her brutally. After a few vicious kicks, Juan warns Dion to tell her brother to stop acting tough. "He messed with the wrong people," she snarls. "We're coming for him next." Dion's face turns pale. She yells, demanding to know what they're planning, but gets a hard slap across the face in return. The pain is nothing compared to the fear she feels for her brother. Clenching her jaw, Dion suddenly bolts out of the recycling station, leaving the 2 bullies behind. The atmosphere in third-year Class 2 grows tense. Even the usual small-time bullies are unusually quiet. The school's biggest troublemaker, Jisoo Kim, the top dog who rules through fear, strolls into the classroom with his entire crew. Right behind him are the 2 thugs Jin had beaten the day before. The tension is thick. Everyone knows something bad is about to happen. Jin sits calmly at his desk, completely unfazed. Suddenly, the classroom door bursts open. Dion stumbles in, panting heavily. Her face is bruised. Her uniform is dirty and torn, and tears fill her eyes. Jin's expression changes instantly. He stands up, eyes widening in shock at the sight of his battered sister. Jisoo smirks and starts taunting. "Looks like your little sister is really worried about you." He mocks how his own sister Juan only nags him, while Juan herself walks in and sneers that she'll only feel sorry when someone finally teaches Jin a lesson. Before Jin can react, the scene briefly flashes back to earlier that morning. Young Chan is getting bullied again, erasers and objects being thrown at his head for target practice. Jae Hong and Hak Jin are laughing and competing over who can land better shots. When they throw another one, Jin steps in casually. The eraser hits him instead. He sits down next to the terrified Young Chan and asks if he's okay. Young Chan, still shaken, whispers that Dion has been suffering badly at school. He reveals that Juan has been bullying her ever since middle school out of jealousy. Worse, Juan's brother is Jisoo Kim, one of the most dangerous students in the entire school. Jin's eyes narrow as the pieces connect. Back in the present, Jisoo flicks his finger at Jin and orders him to come over. His lackeys move in. Dion bursts fully into the room, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry. I got you dragged into this." Juan scoffs, calling her a drama queen. Jin gently tells his sister she has nothing to apologize for. Then his expression turns ice cold. In one swift motion, he slaps the nearest lackey so hard the guy flies to the ground, knocked out cold. The rest of the crew charges. Jin moves like a shadow. He effortlessly pushes away a flying punch, counters with a precise strike to the throat that leaves the attacker coughing and collapsing. Another lackey tries to hit him. Jin crushes his ribs with a single blow and sends him crashing down. Jisoo's confident smirk finally fades as he watches his strongest guys get dismantled like they're nothing. When only Jisoo remains, he sneers, "You're not as weak as you look." He launches a lightning-fast kick at Jin's face. Jin blocks it effortlessly. Jisoo swings his other leg, also blocked. Jin yanks the leg forward, pulls Jisoo close, and delivers a brutal punch straight to his face. Blood sprays everywhere as Jisoo crashes to the ground. Before Jisoo can recover, Jin follows up with a powerful kick to the face, sending more blood flying. The once feared top bully lies defeated and humiliated on the classroom floor. The entire class falls silent, eyes wide in shock. No one can believe what they just witnessed. Jin turns and walks straight toward the trembling Hwan. Dion rushes forward and grabs her brother's arm. Please stop. That's enough. Jin pauses. He reminds her softly that Hwan and her crew have been tormenting her for a long time, and he knows what happened yesterday too. Dion lowers her head in shame, realizing her brother figured everything out. She forces a weak smile and says she's fine now. Jin hesitates, then agrees. He walks Dion to her classroom, the weight of the moment hanging between them.